Right, let's talk about rules. We have them everywhere. At home, you can't just decide your roommate's bedroom is now a dedicated ball pit. That's a rule. At work, you can't replace all the office coffee with lukewarm gravy. That's a rule and also just monstrous. Society is basically a giant, complicated Jenga tower of rules designed to stop us from descending into chaos and, gravy-related workplace incidents. Imagine for a second that your neighbor isn't just one person with a catapult, but a whole country. And your other neighbor is another country. You can't exactly call the local police to arrest France. The cops would show up, look at the Eiffel Tower and say, "Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger pair of handcuffs." This is where the whole idea of a world court comes in. It's a place where countries can take their massive, complicated disputes and have them settled by judges in fancy robes instead of by generals in fancy tanks. The International Court of Justice, the ICJ. Even its acronym sounds like a government form you'd have to fill out in triplicate. It's also known by a slightly cooler name, the World Court. The ICJ is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations. When the UN was created, its founders said we need a council to talk, an assembly for everyone to gather, and, crucially, a court to handle the legal stuff. The ICJ's job is to settle legal disputes submitted to it by states. And that word states is key. The ICJ is exclusively for countries. It's a VIP club, and the only way to get in is to be a sovereign nation. Think of it as the ultimate small claims court, but where the small claim might be an entire island, a massive chunk of the ocean, or a disagreement over accusations of genocide. The ICJ wasn't just dreamed up on a whim. It was born from the ashes of global catastrophe, specifically 2 of them. After that horrific, pointless slaughter, world leaders thought perhaps having a global system to prevent this would be a good idea. In 1945, as the dust was settling, they gathered in San Francisco to create the United Nations and decided to create a new, improved world court. Thus, the International Court of Justice was established by the Charter of the United Nations. All 193 member states of the United Nations are automatically parties to the ICJ statute. If you're in the UN, you're in the ICJ club. It's part of the basic package of being a recognized country in the modern world. Just because a country is a member doesn't mean it has to accept the court's jurisdiction. For the ICJ to hear a case, both countries must agree to let the court decide. This is called consent, and it's the bedrock of the whole system. The ICJ basically has 2 modes, like a fancy blender. It has the crush setting and the gently stir setting. Its main function is settling contentious cases. This is the crush setting. A contentious case is a formal legal dispute between countries. It's the full courtroom drama. Lawyers in robes, piles of evidence, long oral arguments, and eventually, a legally binding judgment. The second function is giving advisory opinions. This is where the ICJ acts like a very wise legal consultant. UN organs can ask the ICJ for its opinion on complex legal questions. This opinion is not legally binding, but it carries immense legal weight and moral authority. While a country doesn't have to follow an advisory opinion, ignoring one is a bad look. Let's talk about actual cases. Imagine two countries who for decades couldn't agree on exactly where their border was. In 2010, they jointly took their case to the ICJ saying, "We can't solve this, you do it." Another famous type involves natural resources. Take the dispute between Australia and East Timor over a massive oil and gas field, worth billions of dollars in revenue from resources underneath the seabed. The ICJ is composed of 15 judges, the heavyweights, the crème de la crème of the international legal world. They are elected to 9-year terms by simultaneous vote in both the UN General Assembly and Security Council. There's a geographical balancing act. Seats are distributed to represent the main forms of civilization and principal legal systems of the world, with judges from Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Europe. This is the billion-dollar question. The ICJ has no police force, no army, no way to physically compel compliance. The entire system is built on the willingness of countries to honor their legal commitments. There have been several high-profile cases of non-compliance. In 1986, the court ruled against the United States in a case brought by Nicaragua. The U.S. response? It basically said the court had no jurisdiction and never paid the reparations. What does this have to do with your life? A lot more than you think. The work of the ICJ creates a more stable, predictable, and safer world for everyone through reliable trade, safer travel, and conflict prevention. The ICJ champions the idea that no one, not even the most powerful country, is above the law. When a small country like Gambia can take Myanmar to court, it sends a powerful message about justice based on principles, not power. The ICJ is flawed, often frustrating, and sometimes